eigentlich das wahre Erfolg, dass man da reinkommt und dass für alle anderen Menschen, die jetzt auf irgendeinem Weg sind, außer ein Weg, den sie zum Paradies führt, unabhängig, ob sie das wissen oder nicht, das führt sie nicht zum Erfolg, den sie sich eigentlich aussuchen.
Barakallahu fi. So basically, brothers and sisters in Islam, I only come today to advise you and myself first and foremost that being a Muslim is something that I'm proud of. Coming to Islam by way of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has offered me a cure. And this is something that I'm grateful for. But many of us tend to neglect the gratitude that should be established by way of this mercy that's been bestowed upon us. Many of us take for granted the fact that you have been guided to something that is perfect. And many of us find ourselves trying to search outside the box for something that does not have the same value of that which you are already upon. And I say this to say that the identity or the phobia with being a Muslim is something that tarnishes the credibility of the Muslim, and it tarnishes the perception of Islam. And many of us, we have hard times understanding that no matter how you look at it, we're Muslims. And this is something that, we should never take for granted. Because many of you, by show of hands, how many are born Muslim?
Also er fragt, wie viele Leute hier sind eigentlich als Muslime geboren?
Allahu Akbar. And how many of you, such as myself, reverted to the religion of Islam?
Wie viele sind konvertiert?
Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. And how many of you here, inshallah, are non-Muslim or soon to be Muslim, inshallah?
Wie viele hier gibt es, die nicht Muslime sind, aber würden gerne, inshallah, den Islam annehmen?
Inshallah. Now, you can start from here.
Yeah? Okay.
For those of you that raised your hand, born and raised Muslim, there's a mercy that's been bestowed upon you before you even knew what mercy was. There is a gift that was given to you before you even understood what a gift was. By the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you all came from the womb of a Muslim. You came from the womb of a Muslim. By Allah's mercy, He brought you by way of birth into this beautiful religion of Al-Islam. And for those of you such as myself who have reverted to Islam, many of us went through many trials and tribulations. Many of us went through many tests in order to find this beautiful religion by way of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And many people always ask me the question, like, why is it that, people who revert to Islam take Islam so serious? And as far as those who are born and raised Muslims have a tendency to neglect this beautiful mercy that's been bestowed upon you. Now Allah knows best exactly what that entails, but the reality of what's apparent in front of the eyes of many of us is that coming from kufr, coming from disbelief, coming from not understanding your purpose of creation, coming from not knowing why you're here, this is something that is it's very painful to live a life and not have knowledge of your purpose. This is very painful for a person to conduct this life on a day-to-day basis without knowing where he's going. As for someone who's born and cultivated and raised upon the understanding that gives you clear knowledge of why you're here, clear knowledge of what's your purpose in life, clear knowledge of who's the only one worthy of worship alone with no partners, and that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the slave and messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So to be born and raised upon this and take it for granted versus the ones who reverted, such as myself, coming into this understanding by way of darkness, by way of not understanding, without understanding our purpose in life. This is something that we hold dear to our hearts, as every Muslim should. Because Islam is a religion that's established solely by the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the fastest growing religion in the world by way of the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no promotional vehicle for Islam. There is no billboards and blimps flying across the sky saying accept Islam. There is no guy on TV 3 o'clock in the morning telling you you could become a Muslim for $19.99. If you act fast in 3 installment plans at $3.99, you can be a Muslim tonight. Like, we are not evangelists. This is not a religion that is being called to by way of deception. This is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instills in the hearts of mankind and guides whoever He wills to be upon a path that gives us an opportunity to enter a paradise where we spend an eternity with pleasure upon pleasure.